Okay, class, today we're looking at parallel and perpendicular lines. We're going to start with parallel lines. In this first example, it says determine if two lines are parallel. Two lines are parallel if they have the same slope. Line 1 has slope is m, so line 1 slope has equal to line 2 slope. And then it says find the slopes of the two lines and compare. So we need to look at the A example. The slope in the first one is 5. Slope in the second one is 5. And I forgot to mention y equals mx plus b. M is right there. Okay, when you compare them, they're the same, so they are definitely parallel. So when you come to the B part, you have a -2 and a +2 as the slopes. When you compare them, they're different because they have different signs. So this one is not parallel. Okay, so to find the slope of parallel lines, so example 2, pause the video and see if you can come up with what the slope would be for both of these, A and B. So if y is equal to 10x and you put 10 here, then you're correct. On this one, the slope is 1, and if you put 1 there, then you're correct. Remember, there's a 1 in front of any variable that has no number. Okay, so for example 3, it says determine if two lines are perpendicular. Two lines are perpendicular if their slopes are negative opposite, which means opposite. Negative opposite reciprocal. Okay. Step 1 says if a line has a slope of m, the perpendicular line's slope must be opposite, which is negative, and flipped upside down, which is reciprocal. So if I'm looking at the examples here, 2/3, you flip it, you get 3/2. You change the sign. So this 2/3 opposite reciprocal is a -3/2. For the second example here, you have to change that to a fraction, 3/1. You flip it, you get 1/3. You change the sign. That's a -1/3, which is the opposite reciprocal of 3/1. So on the A part, we have a -4 for the slope of one line and 1/4 for the slope of the other line. So M1 is -4. M2 is 1/4. And if you flip this and change the sign, that means it's perpendicular. I'm going to abbreviate that. So pause the video and do that one. So you should have gotten 1/3 for this. And you should have gotten a -3 for this from the second slope. So are those perpendicular slopes? They are, because if you flip this one and change the sign, then that would be a perpendicular. They would be perpendicular slopes. So if you got that, then you're correct also. Okay, so number 4 says, example 4 says, determine the slope of a parallel line. So this is just like the other example 3. So what I want you to do is pause it and come up with an answer for the slope that would be perpendicular to this slope, and then what would be perpendicular to that one, and then come back. We have a -2/5, so we would flip it, and it would be 5/2, and then you change the sign, which means it has to be positive, so that's what you should have got. And on this B part, you have 7, you change that to 7/1, so when you flip it, it becomes 1/7. You change the sign, negative, and that's what that one should be. So if you have any questions, get with your teacher. I am going to have a part 2 to this video because I need to show you one other thing. So make sure you get with your teacher if you didn't understand anything I went over.